Nephron or uriniferous tubules are the structural as well as functional unit of the kidneys. Mainly these nephrons or uriniferous tubules involved in the mechanism of urine formation. So as already we know that urine is the filtrate produced by the kidneys that gets excreted out of the body. So which contains the waste materials which are not required for the body and they cause the harmful effects. The structure of the nephron itself facilitates its function. So we know that this nephron contains two prominent structures known as Malpighian capsule and other one is the renal tubule. So in the case of this Malpighian capsule, again it contains glomerulus. This is the blood capillary part that is in red color. Another one is a structure, cup-like structure, surrounds the glomerulus, that is Bowman's capsule. So later this Bowman's capsule followed as the renal tubule, and this renal tubule starts with a proximal convoluted tubule and later loop of Henle, and later which is continued as the distal convoluted tubule, and later that enters into the collecting tube. Then these collecting tubules, they receives the filtrate from a number of nephrons, and later this collecting tubule that opens into a structure called papillae. So later this papillae opens into the minor calyx, and the minor calyx of many pyramids, renal pyramids, they join together and forms the major calyx, and this major calyx of different regions collectively they forms the renal pelvis. Later this renal pelvis continues as the ureter, and this ureter joins to the urinary bladder where the urine is temporarily stored and later that is excreted out of the body. The mechanism of formation of urine involves four main stages. They are glomerular filtration, tubular reabsorption, tubular secretions, and next one is the final one is the concentration of the urine. In the glomerular filtration, that is the first stage of the urine formation, the urine is filtered from the glomerulus. Let us see what is the region or structure of the nephron that facilitates the glomerular filtration. As we discussed earlier, afferent arteriole that enters into the glomerulus, that forms the glomerulus. So this afferent arteriole brings the blood which is to be filtered into the glomerulus region. Then after this filtration, the blood leaves the glomerulus by the efferent arteriole. When you look at the diameter of this afferent arteriole, when you compare this diameter of this afferent arteriole with the efferent arteriole, usually this is narrower. So as this particular efferent arteriole is compared to the narrower, whatever may be the blood that brings by the afferent arteriole to the glomerulus is not carried away by the efferent arteriole. That means a lot of blood is remain in the case of this glomerulus. So because of this, that leads the building up of the pressure inside the glomerulus, that leads the blood to take the alternate pathway and finally that enters into the Bowman's capsule by a process called filtration. So the diameter of afferent arteriole is wider than the efferent. So the amount of input is higher than the output carried away by the efferent arteriole. So that builds the pressure inside the glomerulus and that facilitates the filtration of blood in the glomerulus. So here that creates a pressure inside the glomerulus and that helpful for the filtration. As the filtration is happening at the glomerulus region, this is called glomerular filtration, and this glomerular filtration creates the primary urine, that enters into the Bowman's capsule. Actually, this primary urine is which is similar to the blood, absence of the certain blood cells as well as the bigger proteins. After the formation of primary urine in the Bowman's capsule, then that enters into the proximal convoluted tubule of the renal tubule. So here in this Bowman's capsule, the glomerulus filtration happens here. So from here, the primary urine, which is exactly similar to the blood composition, enters into the proximal convoluted tubule. Except certain amount of proteins as well as blood cells, remaining composition is almost the same compared to the blood. Next stage includes the tubular reabsorption. The second stage, tubular reabsorption, and the third stage, tubular secretions, are mainly related to the peritubular capillaries present in the case of nephron. Peritubular network is formed by the efferent arteriole. Then this efferent arteriole that forms a network of blood capillaries around the nephron. So these are the network of blood capillaries that form a mesh-like structure around the renal tubule, and these are the peritubular capillary network. This peritubular capillary network plays an important role in the second and third stage of the urine formation, that is tubular, which is specific to the renal tubular capillary network. For simple understanding, we can see this one. This red structure is related to the afferent arteriole and forms the glomerular capillary and leaves the glomerulus as efferent arteriole and later forms the peritubular capillary around the renal tubule. For our understanding, we are representing it as in the linear form. And coming to the definition for this renal reabsorption, reclamation means the recovery of useful substances from the waste products, that means in the primary urine. So here reclamation of water and solutes that got filtered out in the glomerulus. That means here bringing it back, bringing the useful products back into the body from the primary urine is called as the tubular reabsorption. That means reabsorption into the peritubular capillary network. This tubular reabsorption occurs at the proximal convoluted tubule of the renal tubule. Here, the useful substances reabsorbed into the peritubular network. So as we discussed earlier, then in the second stage, the number 2 indicates the reabsorption. The useful substances are reabsorbed into the peritubular capillaries. So as these are reabsorbing into the peritubular capillaries, this process is known as tubular reabsorption. And coming to the third stage of urine formation, that is tubular secretion, and this tubular secretion can be defined as this is the transfer of materials from peritubular capillaries to the renal tubule, and which is opposite to the process of reabsorption. In the case of reabsorption, the useful substances are reabsorbed into the peritubular capillaries and later supplied back to the body. But whereas in the case of secretions, waste materials which are not filtered Then these waste materials are secreted into the renal tubule. So here this tubular secretion is the transfer of waste materials from peritubular, that means from blood capillaries to the renal tubular lumen, later that is excreted out of the body. So here waste materials are secreting from the peritubular capillaries to the renal tubular lumen, and this process is opposite to the reabsorption. And usually this tubular secretion occurs from PCT to loop of Henle and DCT also, but mainly this occurs at the distal convoluted tubule. As we discussed, this peritubular network secretes waste materials into the distal convoluted tubule, and this process is known as the tubular secretions. The main aim or objective or goals of this reabsorption as well as secretion is to maintain pH and concentration of urine in the body. And the final stage is the concentration of the urine. So usually it occurs all over the nephron. Concentration means taking out the water from the urine. So usually in the proximal convoluted tubule itself, 75% of the water is reabsorbed. So that means the urine is getting concentrated here, and 10% is concentrated in the case of loop of Henle. Further, the urine is concentrated in the collecting tubules also, and this concentration in the collecting tubules occurs in the presence of a specific hormone known as vasopressin. So in the presence of this vasopressin hormone, the urine is further concentrated in the collecting tubules, and here the final concentration occurs, and later the concentrated filtrate is excreted as a urine. In this way, urine is produced in the case of human beings.